get made fun of, I get put down, I get ignored, I'm invisible to people.
What is your name?
Brittany.
Brittany. How old are you?
I just turned 30.
And how long have you been experiencing homelessness?
About 5 years.
Do you want to share a little bit about what led up to that, some causes and effects?
Well, I'm originally from Kentucky. I moved up here because my dad lived here. He had cancer. He was one of the cancer centers.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have that back home.
Right. And
he ended up passing away, and I don't have any family, and I couldn't afford where he was living, so I had to get out. And because I don't have ID or birth certificate or social security card, and I have one arm, I can't find a job.
And have you tried to go through the system to get some of those identification points back?
I'm working on it as a social worker.
How long did it take for you to initiate that process? Would you say that it takes a fairly long time, and that might be what holds some people back?
Yeah.
What was the time frame for you to even just get a social worker assigned to you?
About 6 months.
It's not fair, because a lot can happen in 6 months. Somebody might not be in the position to even receive that help anymore.
Well, not even that, but they looked at me and told me to go back home. And I was like, if I had a home to go to, I would. I don't have anybody back home either.
Would you say that you experience things like that, like random acts of kindness, fairly often, or do you see more people ignoring?
I get ignored most of the time.
Have you ever had any experiences where you really felt like in danger because of the people?
Oh yeah, I've been robbed at gunpoint. Just recently I got robbed at gunpoint. I've been dragged in the alleyways by guys. I've woke up to guys getting off on me, you know, because I'm a female and I'm by myself. I mean, I try not to be out after dark. I mean, I know it can happen during the daytime, but it's less likely.
Have you ever reported any of these incidents?
Tried to, but the cop said, ain't nothing we can do. And I looked at him and I was like, if I had money in a home, you could do something, huh? And they just shrugged their shoulders. I had my purse stolen twice at the train stop. I told some of the cops and they just shrugged their shoulders. So they couldn't do nothing about it. Because they wake us up at 6 o'clock in the morning and tell us we have to get up and leave. Yeah, it's cold outside. So they had us get up at 2 o'clock in the morning when it was cold, blue, and freezing.
Well, obviously you haven't had very many positive experiences with the police around here, even just on a day-to-day basis when they're just around.
Yeah,
Do they ever provoke you when you're just by yourself?
I had one yank me up because I wasn't moving fast enough for him.
Have you ever had any experiences of the opposite? Some people who act with more kindness than others?
About 5 years ago. Nowadays, no, they just stare at you and watch you and walk away.
What would you say you wish people would know that would help them perceive people in your situation differently?
That not all homeless people are drug addicts or drunks. I mean, I'm not, and I do this to try to have a place to sleep at night and food. And I'm lucky if I make a freaking dollar. I sit out here for 2-3 hours and make nothing. There's days where I make nothing at all. And it's just, I just wish people would stop just assuming that every homeless person is an addict, because it's not true.
And even if they are, that doesn't mean that they don't deserve kindness either.
Right.
I feel like the biggest thing is that people don't understand that, like in your situation, you had lost a family member. Like that's such a real cause and effect thing for so many other people. That can happen to anybody. And that goes for many of the people that I've interviewed and spoken to. The thing that happened to them that was the biggest leading factor could literally happen to anybody. And I feel like that's the disconnect that a lot of people have. They don't realize that, hey, this could happen to me.
Oh, I know. There's the security guards inside of the mall. Anytime a homeless person goes in there and uses the bathroom, they run right in behind them, bang on the door, bust the door in, tell us we have to leave. And I look at them like, what? I'm not a human, I'm an animal, I have to go to the bathroom outside? And they said, well, you can't go here. I was like, but I'm just like you. I was like, what would happen if you needed to use the bathroom? You were told you want me to go outside like a dog, right? And they just, they just ignore you.
And at that point, I feel like that's not really even doing their job anymore. Like they're fulfilling something inside of them.
It might not be about color, but it's about financial situation.
Just feeling like the bigger person, making themselves feel big. What are some of the more positive things that you've experienced? Or has this changed your perspective on anything? Like do you feel like you've tried to put a positive spin on it and treat it like a lesson?
Yeah, but it's gotten me down more than anything. I'll tell you this, Philadelphia is not the city of brotherly love, I'll tell you that, at all. And I don't think it ever has been.
What are some of the things that you try to do to keep yourself positive and to keep going?
Keep telling myself that someday it might change. Maybe people might look, open their eyes and see what's going on.
Hey, you're on the right track. You got a social security person working with you now, so you're doing the right thing. You're going through the steps. It just sucks that the system sometimes works against you, but hopefully one day it'll work out in your favor and you'll get to where you want to be. Have you ever tried to get into a shelter long term?
Oh no, they're nasty. Oh, there's bed bugs, there's head lice, it's gonna steal your stuff. They're disgusting. They make you get up and leave at like 6 in the morning, whether it's cold or hot outside. There's not much room. There's not many beds. I ended up having to get rid of all my crap and have my hair cut off. I have waist length hair, now it's like a boy haircut because I caught head lice and couldn't get rid of it. This was just this past summer.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share about your experience?
Don't become homeless. Because it really sucks. People are like, oh, you want to be in a situation. No, who really wants to be in this situation? I get made fun of, I get put down, I get ignored, I'm invisible to people. I'm what reasonable people refer to as a trash can because they give us half pieces of food or cold food. And it's always disgusting. The lunch meat sandwiches or peanut butter and jellies are disgusting.
And it's even though they're trying to help, it just...
They're not thinking about it. Leave it out in the heat all day. It's hot.
They're not thinking about how it's going to be perceived by you. And then if you were to voice that and say, oh, no, thanks, like, I don't really want that, then they'll be like, wow. Like you're being ungrateful, which isn't fair because, like you said before, you're still human. You still have your own needs and wants and preferences.
Exactly. I mean, I take the food, but if it's been eaten off, if I throw it away, because I don't want to deal with people saying, oh, well, you really ain't hungry or something. When actually I am starving, but I'm not going to eat your food that you've had in your mouth.
You don't know them.
Right.
Yeah, that's something that I feel like a lot of people don't consider when they're passing judgment on somebody else. Have you ever made any lasting connections with anyone?
I made a couple friends I still talk to that, like, they're not homeless, but they help me out when they can.
Still keep in touch with any of them?
Yeah, two. One of them, I try to give them $20 a week, and I have my own room. That's what I'm out here right now trying to make. Otherwise, I sleep outside. I was okay with it because at least he doesn't ask me to have sex with me, like most of these guys out here do. And I know it helps him with his rent and food and all that, and I don't feel like I'm mooching off him. But I already know it's most likely not even going to make it. And just that knowledge, like, it sucks. It doesn't make me hate life.
At least on the positive side, it's nice to know that you do have those people that do care about you and reach out to you. And there's still hope and good things in this world to really look forward to and try to ignore all the bad stuff until you can get in a better position. Because there are definitely still people who care and want to help in whatever way that they can. Have you been in a position where you saw somebody else who might have been a little bit worse off than you or going down a darker path and you tried to get them to stay on the straight and narrow?
Try to help out as much as I can. Whenever I have extra food or something, I try to give it. If I have any extra money, I try to give $1 to somebody, or a couple dollars. Because $1 don't do nothing, right? You can't even buy anything to eat anymore with $1.
Yeah, things like that. Like, even though it feels small to you, like, that's such a big sign of your character and that you still try to help others. And I definitely wouldn't belittle that. Like, that just goes to show, like, how kind of a person you are and how positive you are, and that even in this situation, you could still try to reach out to other people and try to help them.
As you can tell, the whole time you've been sitting here, not one person, except one person that gave me that sandwich, has even stopped. That's how it is all the time. I get it, and I don't ask for anything. I just say hello to people, and I just get ignored. I'm invisible to everybody out here.
And I feel like a lot of that is because of the stigma that's been created and just being passed down. Because I know when I was younger and like we would travel to Philly, sometimes like my family would be like, oh no, like don't go, like just that's like what you're taught. And it's so sad because I remember when I was younger, I'd be like, no, I want to go give them like my silver coin that I had from the train, or like I have grapes for lunch, I want to go share. And then I just started doing that on my own. But it's like so many other people, they don't break that cycle. They just take what the person before them said and they're like, oh, okay. And then it just becomes that social norm. But it's not fair because if you were in that position, that's not how you would want to be treated. And it's just such a simple act of kindness. You could really turn around somebody's whole day and give them that hope that they need to keep going. Like, you have no idea what somebody's going through on any given day. And I know that you said that you primarily sleep on the streets, except when you had the funds to have a room. What was that like when you first started realizing that that was going to be an everyday thing? Was that hard to adapt to?
Every time I end up sleeping on the street, something always happens.